It's time to move on to our next speaker. This is Dr. Prashanth Kulshreshtha from Yolo Health. May I invite him to please join us on stage?
I hope I'm audible. I'm Prashanth Kulshreshtha and I'm representing a company. You must have seen a health ATM down below if you would have visited the library to the end. So Yolo Health is known for its trademark health ATM. So health ATM is our trademark, and what we are doing in this is that we have chosen FDA and CE approved devices and developed a single interface to work on multiple devices wherein the data is automatically pulled in a structured format, so that your report can be integrated and delivered instantly to the beneficiary who is coming to the health ATM. So like ATM that we all know, that where we go and do some financial transactions, this is a health ATM where you can transact and interact more on your health issues and health parameters. So currently we are already compliant to the ABDM, which is Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission. So we are completely compliant to the futuristic requirements of the law of land, and we are already the first company to have applied for CDSCO license as an integrated health ATM in India. So CDSCO currently is evaluating our ATM and its functioning to award us the CDSCO license. So may I go to the next slide? So beyond the health screening or knowing the health parameters that you can check for yourself, we are proud to say that we have built in a true telemedicine module here. So unlike video consultations, which is done virtually using mobile or any other device which you can do a video consult, here we say telemedicine because we have integrated the examination tools, digital examination tools like digital stethoscope, where the heart sounds, lung sounds can be transmitted to the doctor on the other side of the consult. Also the digital oral camera, which can give you the complete insight into the dental and oral health, and we are going to top it by AI layer to give you the health screening of your oral health instantly. We also have digital dermoscope, digital otoscope, wherein your skin and your ear can also be evaluated as you are having a live consult with the specialist on the other side of the thing. So this is what the true telemedicine module would mean. Next slide. So currently we have got about 60 plus non-invasive parameters already built into it, and about 40 plus invasive parameters using just a single drop of blood that we can do. So it covers almost all the major prevalent diseases in India. Non-communicable diseases specifically are entirely covered here. We also cover several ailments on lung and respiratory diseases going beyond, and also various instant infectious diseases tests that can be done, as in rural settings we would come across various diseases like malaria, dengue, chikungunya, hepatitis and all these things. So we can do an instant diagnosis of those ailments also. Next slide. Next slide. The flow chart or the process of the testing is very, very smooth. A person who is 10th, 12th graduate is skilled on using our interface for say a week's time can easily operate the ATM and take you through all the tests. And the maximum number of tests that you can be subjected, if you go for entire compound of it, it would approximately take you 18 minutes, including your spot ECG test that can be conducted within this time. Next. 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 This is another future version for our ATM that we are specifically building for rural health settings. settings which are more temporary, where you would need to take it off and reinstall at different locations, and with ease and at a lesser and very very cost effective rate for deployment in rural settings specifically. This has also got entire compoundum of testing possibilities, and can telemedicine module is also functional here, and we are also exploring possibilities of integrating it with automated medicine dispensers, as in rural India medicine or getting medicine is also challenge. So this will be an automated medicine dispenser that will be attached to the rural health settings of it. Next. So this is the kind of structured report that is generated using our platform, and we, as I already stated, we are ABDM compliant, NHA compliant, and in fact beyond that we are also HIPAA compliant in terms of data privacy, security and confidentiality issues, and we are using total encryption decryption technologies, and wherein your data will always be secured, and without the biometrics of consumer or beneficiary the data cannot be accessed by anyone else. Next. So these are the product range as of now that we have. So as you can see, in the third one is the ATM that you must have seen in the basement. The first one is a smaller version that we are going to roll out in next 3 months of time. We have an integrated medicine dispenser, which again is a IPR thing that we have already filed for it. And fourth one is the Yolo bag, which we are rolling out in next 2 months time, which will be largely of greater use for non-profit sector or the people who are doing health screening in a difficult geographic terrains, or even for home visits and home-based screening we can use Yolo bags very comfortably. Next. So by now many of you would be thinking that we are probably a healthcare service provider company, and then seeing the product range you would be seeing that we are probably a manufacturing company. But this slide gives you the insight on what vision we have for ourselves, and we never ever claim that we are into equipment or device manufacturing, or we never claim that we are a diagnostic company. We are a pure technology company, and what we are doing is we are building an open API interoperable framework for operating into the segment that we have chosen for ourselves. So it's basically primary, preventive and predictive health that we want to focus on. Next. So we are still exploring the world, and we are growing the spectrum, and we soon will be integrating various utility tests like vision screening, cataract screening, hearing tests, brain health and personalized care plans using various medical IoT devices and bot and AI systems for personalized cares. Next. So we have been here in existence for last 10 years, but we still consider ourselves a startup because health is a growing and a subject which research would continue, and medical IoT device segment per se is now gaining some traction in Indian markets, and thereby much can be done with these devices for a country like India. And we want to take that passion of being a startup to explore that and exploit that particular thing. Next. We have been working closely with good corporates like Max Bupa, Apollo and other companies, and also on other side with government, and at least 5-6 governments that we are working. We are working with non-profit sector. We have association with working directly with various ministries. We have institutional tie-ups like the tie-up with IIT Kanpur, where we are working on predictive health AI and developing algorithms for developing health heat maps and disease trend maps for India. So these are the strong credentials that we have behind the work that we do. Next. So these are some clients that we have served so far and have been working with them. Tech Mahindra, various smart city projects that we have already done. Next. Our contribution, this is something which is important. Next please, Sandeep. So as we are into health and obviously we are working towards the SDG 3, which is core health, but we are also trying to address various SDGs like SDG 6, 8, 9, 11, 13 and 17 through our working approach and style and the kind of delivery that we are handling and trying to address. And it is pretty interesting with our experience of having about 400 plus installations in rural and semi-urban settings. We have clearly noticed that we have reduced the travel time for the beneficiaries visiting our centers by not less than 33%. So 33% in terms of time travel, if we translate it into kilometers, it would be quite substantial for the numbers that we deal at these centers, which are rural, semi-urban and settings. So obviously we have contributed to impacting the lesser fuel consumptions and thereby less carbon emission and helping the SDG 13, which was a very interesting finding when we did our introspection. Next. Country like India, where we now are the most populous nation, now number 1 in terms of population, the answer to health is not planning for the resources for treatment of illnesses, because that cost would be pretty high, which our economy would not be able to provide, or no government can actually fund that kind of health. No insurance can guarantee you the health by getting you that kind of risk mitigation for 140 billion people. So obviously the most sustainable approach to health is that we all should remain in wellness segment. So not letting Indians fall ill is the only sustainable way of sustaining the health. So that is what we found, that by conducting screening and just giving you one example of the impact of budget for a treatment versus treating the possible ways of health screening. In India, we have close to about 60 crore labor working in different industries, different sectors and everywhere, out of which hardly 4.9 crore is actually registered with ESI, where they get some benefit of being treated in case they fall ill. The government data says that for 4.9 crore registered ESI people, they are spending close to about 19,700 crores. That means approximately 4,000 rupees every labor every year for the treatment that they might require on an average. So given that if we were to plan for budget of 60 crore people, we would require roughly around 2.41 lakh crore, which is impossible to budget. So if we were to get into a positive economy, which all of us, there is one common thing, whether people understand health or not, but I would say that people understand money. So if anyone would fall ill and is living in a marginal society and the out of pocket expense for him is such that he is pushed to take a debt or continue paying his healthcare treatment as terms of debt, then he will be pushed into poverty lines. And India is witnessing more than 2.5 crore people going below this poverty line only on account of healthcare expense in OPD and diagnostic alone. Leave apart IPD. So that is a huge number to be taken care of. So that is where I think we can reduce this OP substantially. We can reduce the setup cost of infrastructure substantially. We can result into more productive people, avoiding the losses on terms of disability associated life years for country like India, and thereby positively contribute to the growth of economy and our society and India per se. Next. So we are focused on creating healthy people to attain and sustain the dream of reaching 5 trillion economy, keep growing from there. So that is the thing that we would require. All of us who are here today running our companies, our ventures, nothing would mean if at all that our health was compromised. So health is first, and at YOLO, when we say YOLO, I don't know how you would take that word, but when we coined that word, we always thought that it was you only live once. So when you only live once, health is the utmost important thing that you need to address. If you are healthy, physically, mentally, socially, spiritually, all of us can be successful, and we can go ahead and contribute for ourselves, our family, our society, and our country at large. That is what is the thought process for us. So can you please play the video for me? So this just
पिछले साल हमारे पिताजी चल बसे, पर यह नहीं पता चला कि उन्हें होया क्या था। अगर वक्त पर जांच हो जाती तो बीमारी मालूम पड़ जाती और शायद वो बच भी सकते।
तीसर का महीना चल रहा है, बहुत ही कमजोरी है। डॉक्टर ने दीदी हमको कही कि खून का जांच करवा लो, तुमको खून का कमी है। अब इनको कितना बार तो बोल चुके हैं कि हमको शहर लेके चलो, शहर लेके चलो, खून का जांच करवाना है। अभी कहते हैं कि एक आध को कोई और काम निकलेगा तो फिर तुमको शहर लेके जाएंगे।
अभी खून दिया है जांच के लिए, अब रिपोर्ट आएगी शाम तक और गांव पहुंचते पहुंचते रात हो जाएगी।
अब आपके गांव में भी वे सभी स्वास्थ्य सुविधाएं उपलब्ध हैं जिसके लिए आपको शहर जाना पड़ता था। योलो हेल्थ एटीएम स्वास्थ्य और चिकित्सा के क्षेत्र में एक क्रांतिकारी कदम है। ये मशीन न केवल आपके स्वास्थ्य की तुरंत जांच करती है, बल्कि आवश्यक होने पर आप डॉक्टर से भी परामर्श कर सकते हैं। इस मशीन के द्वारा कई संक्रामक बीमारियां जैसे डेंगू, मलेरिया, टाइफाइड की तुरंत पहचान हो जाती है और आप समय पर सही इलाज शुरू कर सकते हैं। इसमें आपके स्वास्थ्य रिकॉर्ड सुरक्षित रहते हैं जिन्हें आप कभी भी कहीं भी प्राप्त कर सकते हैं। इस मशीन का उपयोग बेहद आसान है जिन्हें स्वास्थ्य कार्यकर्ता चला सकते हैं।
अब सारी जांच या गांव में ही हो रही है, इसके लिए शहर जाकर दिन बर्बाद करने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है। जब तो गांव में कोई बीमार पड़ता है ना जी, तो तुरंत जांच हो जाती है और बीमारी भी पकड़ में आ जाती है। काश पिताजी के टाइम पे मशीन गांव में होती।
अब हमको शहर जाने की कोई जरूरत नहीं। डॉक्टर ने दीदी मशीन पे सब देख लेती है और हमको समय पर दवाई भी दे देती है।
यदि जांच समय पे हो जाए तो कोई भी बीमारी बड़ी नहीं।
So that is just we want to continue doing, and we would invite all the people here, since you all are entrepreneurs and yourself, you are doing something new, and we are into a segment where we would be using technology, and we would be going forward look to work with people who can help us with more of automation, more of robotics to be used with creating these kind of digital centers. We are very aggressively working on creating smart villages with various companies that we are working. We are working with huge CSR funds where we are deploying it for projects of varied natures. So we would be keen to hear from anyone here in the house who would be interested in working in align with us with those projects which can positively impact our society and our country. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Right.